What's going on, golf addicts? Welcome to the first look. It's Monday morning. I'm a little late today on the first look. My bad. Had a lot of stuff going on. Had a long weekend. It was great though. It was great. But I'm ready to get into it with the Wyndham Championship from Sedgefield Country Club. I've done the course research. This is obviously a place we're all familiar with, and um, you know, let's get into it. All right. Tony Finau wins again. Awesome. Great job. Missed him again because I don't bet favorites and we'll continue to not bet favorites and we'll just continue to lose money if that continues to happen. But, I think this golf course sets up to be one of those where it is one that anyone can win. Any skill set can win. What am I talking about? When you look at past champions here, the list of names is rather interesting. I mean, you've got, guys like Kiz and Si Woo and Zach Johnson, I think is one here. Billy Horschel, Jim Herman, Sung Jae. Or those have been some of the best players. I don't know what I'm talking about. Those aren't the winners. This is off to a rough start. Should I start over? I don't know. Oh, look, Marcus is in the chat. Marcus, what's going on? What are you doing? Um, all right, let's get into this. Let's take a look at the top of the betting board for the Wyndham. I'm going to go to DraftKings. As you know, we're looking at DraftKings, FanDuel, and BetMGM. I'm relying on those of you in the chat to help me out, shopping some better numbers if we see them. We find value on this show all the time. We haven't found value the last 2 weeks because we don't bet Tony Finau at a short number, as I mentioned, but we find value on this show all the time, so pay attention. And it's presented to you by our friends at Covers. Winning starts at covers.com. Check it out. Tons of free betting content. Football season's gearing up. They got all the stuff over there you need. It's free. It's easy to get to. It's easy to use. You won't regret it. Check out covers.com. What up, Brent, Alex? We start the show with Kev. Yeah, you're welcome. Producer Sam is in here. Good to hear from Sam. All right, let's shop some numbers, shall we? I'm gonna go down the DraftKings board and go from there. And Will Zalatoris is up top, and that's probably I think I was thinking Sung Jae or Willie Z would be the top, and they're not off by much. Will Z's at 12-1, along with Shane Lowry as a co-favorite. Sung Jae, Billy Ho at 14-1. Let's see what FanDuel has. FanDuel has Webb Simpson as the favorite. That's stupid. I would not do that, even though he's the guy here at Wyndham, despite never winning. Named his kid Wyndham. BetMGM has Shane Lowry as favorite at 14-1. They have Webb at 20, Willie Z at 16. So if you like Will Z, 16-1 could be your number. I don't know. Let's take a look. Who here has? Let's see. Who has the best like strokes gain numbers other than Webb? We know it's ridiculous. Like Webb's record here is silly. In the last 5 years, he's gained 60 strokes at this golf tournament. The next best player is Billy Horschel at 31. He is literally double the next best player in strokes gained over the last 5 years. That is insane. But Billy Ho is your second guy. Ryan Armour, Denny McCarthy, Rory Sabatini, Sung J M, Kisner. Obviously, he's your defending champ. In 2020, it was Jim Herman. He stole it from Siwoo. I remember that. That pissed me off. In 2019, it was our buddy JT Poston. So anyway, let's look at this. Webb, God, Webb's 60 strokes. Henley, Siwoo, HV3, Harris English, those kind of guys have gained the most strokes here. At the top of the board, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't. Sung Jae is interesting to me. Like, what's the best number we can get on Sung Jae? Sung Jae at 18-1 on FanDuel looks to be the best. Played well this past week, I believe, if I remember correctly. Sung Jae. I wasn't paying too much attention. Oh, he didn't play. He finished T2 that's what I was thinking, at the 3M. I like that for Sung Jae. Sung Jae's a nice spot. What do you guys think up here? I mean, there's no way that we're betting Webb. That's not happening. We're not going to bet Webb to win outright. But what do you guys think? I mean, Billy Ho, I think Sung Jae's the only guy. Like Sung Jae, or if you want to take a shot on Willie Z at 16 on BetMGM or FanDuel, I don't hate it. I could see it shortening a little bit before they tee off. Not a lot of early value here, though. I think Sung Jae for me at 18-1 is the click. Then then I want to get into the 20s here. Adam Scott is one I want to look at. Didn't he nearly win this thing last year? I feel like he did. What what's Scott done? Was he the one in the playoff? Yeah, he was. He was T2. Played here last year. I think he lost in the playoff to Kiz. It was a huge playoff here last year, if I remember correctly. And I have a terrible golf memory, but it was. We saw him finish 37th this past week, 15th at the Open. He's playing all right. Like, Adam Scott, though, let's see, what do we want to do? He did everything well across the board at the Rocket. 14th at the US Open, 15th at the Open. Um, I mean, it's something. Can we get a better number on Scott anywhere? 33 to 1 on FanDuel. That feels better. 33 to 1 on BetMGM. I mean, that's interesting. I don't hate that. A little revenge tour for Adam Scott after that brutal playoff loss. Did he miss a short one that year too? Oh, yeah, 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 there we go. He missed the short putt. Thank you. Boom, 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 9. He missed the short putt for the win in the playoff. I do, yeah, now I remembered the putt. I couldn't remember if it was this tournament or not. Yeah, Allen's in here, six-way playoff. Jimmy likes Adam Scott. Played awesome this past week, except for Saturday. I don't know. I like it. What Brent says, what's the thought on Shane? Hey, look, this is how you do it. Guys, if you have questions about certain players, wait till I get to the range and then throw the questions up. Okay. Don't ask me about a guy 100 to 1 right now. Okay. Brent, great question. What's the thought on Shane? Lost his mojo or good time off? I mean, listen, I'm always I've been on Shane Lowry a lot this year. Really have. He's T21 at the Open Championship was the last time we saw him. He's played here 4 times. He's got a 23rd in 2020, a miscut 18, a 7th in 17, and a 42nd in 2016. I mean, from a stat perspective, he is going to check every single box. He is yet to win like a standard PGA Tour event. He won the Bridgestone a while back in let's see, 2015. He won the Bridgestone, but it's been a while, and he's knocked on the door a lot. Runner up at the Honda this year, third at the Heritage this year. Which I mean, the Heritage is a similar style golf course. It's a Pete Dye versus Donald Ross, but I mean, I definitely don't hate Shane Lowry at all. Like, if you want to bet Shane Lowry, that's fine. I think the value is better because he's right there around Willie Z and Sung Jae. Like, I would just prefer to have Sung Jae and Will Z, honestly. Um, you get better line value there, I think, out of both of those guys. Okay, let's keep working on the board. I think Adam Scott is interesting. I don't feel super charged up about it, but at the 33 to 1 number, I kind of like it. That's on FanDuel. I want to look at HV3. So HV3, 42 to 1 on FanDuel is the best number. 40 to 1 on MGM is the number. We had HV on the show this past week, and that interview is going to be dropping this week. It was a fantastic interview. He's gained 20 strokes here in the last 5 years. He's going to check a lot of boxes. He's, North Carolina boy, familiar with playing like tree line, North Carolina Parkland style golf courses. Third place at the Heritage, runner up at the Heritage the year before that. Another similar track to me with like this grainy Bermuda tree lined, like get it in the fairway, sixth at the Players this year, plays well at the Players repeatedly. He's played well at the Players. Um, Seventh at the Wyndham last year. I think HV3 is clicking, and I kind of like it. So if he's clicking, I'm clicking, and that 42 number on FanDuel is quite attractive. So I think if I had to choose, I'd take the HV3 value over Adam Scott there. Corey Connors, Siwoo, man. Siwoo's playing well, and he loves this place. 32 to 1 on FanDuel. Y'all let me know if there's better odds on other books. 32 to 1 on FanDuel. So far, FanDuel's given us all the early line value. Siwoo has finished runner-up last year, third in 2020, fifth. Third is when he could have won, and he hit his driver OB on number 6 or 7, I think. Took a drop, and that was the famous "We go home now." This was the famous "We go home now" Siwoo quote from his caddy. Love it. God love it. Playing really well. I mean, 15th at the Open Championship, 14th at the Rocket Mortgage. That's after a little bit of a slump he had there in the middle. Irons are still a little sus. Let's take a look at his proximity, like long-term proximity ranges. Where does he do the best? Because this is definitely a like 125 to 175 spot. And he's just kind of neutral. Like, I'm looking on Fantasy National. I could share my screen, but that would take too long. He's just kind of net neutral here. He's better from 175 to 200 or wedging it 75 to 100. I mean, that's interesting too. I'm always a guy for Siwoo, but honestly, I don't know that the value. Where did I say his best number was? Siwoo 32 to 1 on FanDuel. Uh, where is he on 25 to 1? So 32 to 1. I don't love that number. Like, I would rather have HV3 still at 40. Yeah, Siwoo says this is his favorite course. It is. Boom Fefum is right. He's on the same wavelength as me. Yeah, I like Siwoo. I don't love the early value as much right now. I I don't know that I couldn't see that number getting much shorter. I wonder if it could get any longer. Maybe not. Russell Henley, I mean, played well this past week. I'm not believing in him to close the door on anything right now because the putter is just still pretty atrocious, I believe. Denny McCarthy pissed off a lot of people last week. Trunk slammed, has played well here. He gained strokes versus his expectation here at the Wyndham Championship. I mean, last week at the Rocket, it just was like a very average Denny McCarthy week. He didn't gain strokes anywhere. He gained no strokes everywhere. Gained no strokes everywhere. Is that proper grammar? But I like a bounce back for Denny. I don't know if I love betting him outright at 30. Let's see, 30 to 1 on DraftKings. 32 to 1 on FanDuel. This isn't looking good. 40 to 1 on MGM. I don't love that value. Maybe more of a DraftKings play. HV3 is getting a lot of love here in the chat. Eric Potts is down with HV3. I agree. So I think so far he's definitely the best value in this range to me. Seabez, I'm interested in 30 to 1 on DraftKings, 55 to 1 on FanDuel. I've been saying this about Seabez all year that like I've been waiting on him to actually get in contention, like real contention, because he had a bunch of top 10s and top 15s, but they were all tournaments that never really felt like he was really in it. And then came the John Deere and he had a chance. We know he can get nuclear hot with the putter. I mean, in his last 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 events, 2 different times in his last 7 events, he's gained over 8 strokes putting. This guy can get really, really hot with the putter. You don't have to be a long hitter here. Let's see what his proximity distance preference would set up to be. Um, what's that? So the FanDuel number again, 55 to 1, a ton of value there on Seabez. His best ranges, yeah, his best range is that 100 to 175, like those 3 buckets. Um, I really like how Sedgefield sets up for Seabez. So I think that 55 on FanDuel is a click for me. Steve Dubb, 60 to 1 FanDuel Keith Mitchell. I don't I don't think I like it only because I mean Mitchell's great on, Bermuda kind of, these kind of tracks. He loves Bermuda Keith. I just think Sedgefield is definitely a place that's going to neutralize Keith a little bit off the tee. It's going to neutralize the distance a touch. He's played here 3 times, never had a better finish than 41st. I just don't see this being a spot that's really great for him to win. Um, Not a lot of drivers here. I think was it Stenson that won here and without a driver, even in the bag. He didn't even have one in the bag. Obviously, Keith can still gain plenty of strokes off the tee with distance here, but I just don't. It's not the perfect spot for him to bet him outright at the moment. I don't hate him as a DFS play though. I will say that. Anybody else in this range? Pendrith is in here. Obviously played really well this past week. Terrell Hatton's up here. I don't know. Aaron Wise, I'm usually a sucker for, but I like him on harder courses. Brian Harmon. I mean, are we doing Brian Harmon? He's 40 to 1 on DraftKings. Who else we got in the chat here? Hubbard and Brendan Todd, Bob is asking about. Are they in this range? Let's see. I'm surprised Hubbard. Yeah, we're kind of getting into that 70 to 1 range. Kiz, no, I just don't think Kiz is playing well right now. I mean, I don't think he's not feeling very kizzy. You know what I mean? This feels like a great spot for Brian Harmon, and he sucked here. I miscut last year, 27th the year before that, 6th the year before that. I mean, I like Harmon here. How did he get? He's played here a lot actually, and he's got a ton of miscuts. He's either got a miscut or a top 10, just about. That's weird. I might have to dig deeper into why Brian Harmon gets here and sucks. Like maybe I have to look into his form leading up to Wyndham's because like right now the form is pretty good. Outside of the Scottish where he missed the cut, who cares? Like first event getting over to Scotland and getting used to things. But sandwiched between that was an 8th at the Travelers and a 6th at the Open. This really does feel like a Brian Harmon course, and it feels like he's kind of knocked on the door a lot. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I'll have to dig deeper into Brian Harmon. It doesn't get me going just yet. Somebody's asking about Davis Riley at 50 to 1. I think, yeah. Oh, Alan's asking about Davis. I think Davis has cooled a little bit here, right, guys? Like he's not necessarily. I mean, the last couple weeks have been not great. I mean, at the Travelers, my God, he lost 8 strokes putting. He lost about a stroke at the 3M and half a stroke at the Rocket, but the irons have left him. I mean, when he was really hot with the irons from the Byron Nelson to the Memorial, or maybe even the U.S. Open, like he'd completely gone out of there with, he left his body. The irons have left the building for Davis Riley. I think I might be out on that one. Um, Sebastian Munoz, like, I kinda like is this what's Munoz done here? He's played here a lot. No real great finishes out of Munoz. He's hitting it pretty good right now, that's for sure. What's going on with Munoz at the Wyndham? He's never really hit it that well. Maybe this is another Brian Harman situation, kinda looking to see, like, what his form has been leading in because his form is really solid now. Best number for him is 50 to 1 on FanDuel. No, 66 to 1 on MGM. I like that. I like Munoz a little bit. Um, JT Poston, I mean, hey, dude, JT is playing really, really well here, past champ, or he's playing really well, like, recently. Missed the cut the last 2 years, but that doesn't really I mean, he's in incredible form. I bet he's not been in better form leading into the Wyndham than he is right now with an 11th, missed cut at the Open, won the John Deere, runner-up at the Travelers, 3rd at the Heritage early this year. I mean, like, he has really, really knocked on the door quite a bit. Let's look at him in 2021 at the Wyndham. Yeah, I mean, leading up to the Wyndham, he was okay. He had a runner-up at the Barbasol. That's the one he nearly won, lost to Seamus Power. But, definitely not necessarily running hot by any means. Then the year before that, the form was terrible leading up to the Wyndham. I mean, hadn't gained irons in like 3 months. Gained strokes on his approach, up until like 3 months. I like Poston here. What's the best number for Poston? He's 50 to 1 on DraftKings, 40 to 1 on FanDuel. Mm, where are we? Where are we? 33 to 1 on MGM. Yeah, I think I'd hit that JT Poston number at 50 to 1. I like it. I like it. Adam Long, maybe. KH Lee. No, Hubbard. All right. Somebody asked about Hubbard. Uh, we can't get too wrapped up around Hubbard in these, and how he's played in these really, really, really weak fields. And I think that was a mistake people made, including I think Pat with Hubbard last week. A little bit stronger field. He comes in and he just can't quite hang. I don't think he's a big game hunter necessarily. And this field isn't incredible. Um, but we're talking outrights here. So we're talking 2 win. Do I think Mark Hubbard has top 10 upside here? Yes, I do. But do I think he's going to close the door on a victory? I don't see anything that's really showing me that right now. I mean, yes, he came close at the Barbasol, but we're not at the Barbasol. Um, so I don't think I want to bet on Mark Hubbard to win. That's the thing we got to remember every single week. We're betting outright winners. Can these guys close the door? Scott Stallings at 70 to 1. Somebody in the chat was asking about Stallings. Oh, it was Steve Dubb. Steve Dubb and Bob Salvage. Whoa. Steve Dubb and Bob Salvage. Yeah, I don't even have to look at Scott. I'm going to keep betting Scott Stallings because he is coming extremely close. He does not have a great record here. He's got a lot of experience here, but he's just hitting it so well right now. He's doing everything across the board extremely well. Again, I bet if we scrolled and looked, and I'm not going to look, but I bet if we scrolled and looked, his form leading into the Wyndham is probably better now than it's ever been in all the years he's played. So Stallings for sure. What's his best number? It's not on FanDuel, 45. So it's DraftKings. So Stallings at 70 is a click. Goddard up Vegas, no. Champ, no. Somebody was asking about Brendan Todd earlier. Todd Todd is irritating the crap out of me this year. I think I'm out on Brendan Todd for now. Uh, Ball striking is just not good enough, and even on courses where he should be gaining a lot more strokes off the tee because of his accuracy, I just don't. I don't. He's not doing it. He's not getting it done. So I'm out on Brendan Todd. JJ Spawn played well last week. Shout out to Nita. She had him going. What did Harris English do last week? We're getting into the long shots here. What did he do last week? He's played this place really well, I think. Um, He trunk slammed, but pretty much just neutral and everything, like stuck in neutral. So probably not betting him to win, but I think he could be interesting top 20 value or maybe even DraftKings value. All right, getting into these long shots, who do you guys want to look at? Let's take a look so we can get out of here. Button this up. Martin Laird. Laird is striking it very well right now. What's he done here? Oh wow, man, he sucked here. Why? Laird's like a great, just accurate player. Why has he done so bad here? I guess he's made 4 of 6 cuts, but the last 2 years he's sucked on the greens. I guess that's why he's a terrible putter. He's not terrible. I don't know. Laird's interesting. Ryan Armour, no. Taylor Moore. Who was that in the chat? Yeah, Mark Green asking about Taylor Moore. Let me pull up his. I want to look at some of these rookies. Like, I still think there's value on some of these rookies to go back and look at how they performed on the Corn Ferry Tour over a whole season, right? So he had 11 top tens and a win last year on the Corn Ferry Tour. I have him listed as his profile as a great total driver. He averaged over 306 off the tee and was top 25 in driving accuracy. He was 10th in greens and reg, 6th in scrambling, and kind of middle of the road as a putter, but just, not terrible, not great either. But let's take a look at that was the Corn Ferry Tour profile for Taylor Moore. Let's see how he's also, I just found this out. Our good friend Josh Gregory is a PGA Tour coach, coaches Will Zalatoris, coaches a bunch of guys, honestly. But he's a great short game coach. He just started working with T Moore, and I think you can see it. Like, look at his strokes game putting, because Gregory's a short game guy. He's a short game putting guy. He's fantastic with that. He was the coach at Augusta State that won 2 national titles with Patrick Reed, Henrik Norlander, those guys. But Moore's putting has really made a turn here, and that could be, and he's hitting it well. He wasn't hitting it well here recently, but let's see, 130 to 1, but he is now 130 to 1 on DraftKings. Where is he on FanDuel? What's the best number for Taylor Moore? 120 on FanDuel, 80 to 1 on MGM. So I don't hate it. Like, I don't hate it. Little flyer for the old Taylor Moore. Somebody's asking about Callum Tarrant at 160. You guys know me. I mean, heck, if this isn't a Callum Tarrant podcast, that this, I don't know what is. I mean, the guy just continues to be fire. Sedgefield may neutralize the distance for him a little bit, but the irons are popping. Yeah, I'm going to keep at 130 to 1. I will continue to put a little sprinkle on Callum Tarrant. He's 80 to 1 on both FanDuel and DraftKings. So sure. Like, why not? Let's hit that. Who else we got in the chat we're looking at? Smoth Daddy at 150. I don't know if we're ready to. I don't know if we're ready to bet Smoth Daddy outright still. Like, I want to see Smoth Daddy in the flames, in the fire. Standing there with Goggart on the back. Top 20 Smoth Daddy. I'll continue to lose money on that, but yes, I will fire on that. Tim Johnson, yeah. Callum Tarrant top 40s and top 20 has been money the last couple weeks. We love Callum Tarrant. Marcus, stranded Marcus. Rory Sabs, yeah. I mean, the guy way outperforms his expectation whenever he shows up at the Wyndham. Do we think Rory Sabatini is worth a stab to win? Doubtful, very doubtful. But I mean, the dude since 2012, he has 4 top tens here in 7 attempts. Dang. So, like, a top 20 on Rory Sabs is probably an auto. I would go ahead and find that now. Keps is in here. What up? Taylor Moore. Thoughts on Tom Kim? Listen, Tom Kim is doing his thing. I mean, I think you continue to ride the hot hand with Tom Kim. Ride it. Remember, what's his best number? Because I think I already passed him. He was up there. He's short. I don't know if I want to bet Tom Kim. I mean, 45 to 1 on DraftKings was the number for Tom Kim. Y'all throw in any other names you want to look at here, and then we'll wrap this up. 34 on 33. I mean, so DraftKings is your best number at 45. I mean, I still don't love that, even as good as he's playing. Did I say 45? Yeah, 45. I still don't absolutely just that doesn't get my juices flowing that much, but I mean, he is hitting it well, man. Dang. How many events has he played in a row? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Oh, this will be 5. That's okay. These other guys are these guys trying to save their tour card, playing like 6 and 7. This is like their 6th or 7th event in a row. All right, let's see if there's any other like bombs we want to throw here. Hmm, Lebiota. Sig really disappointed me last week. I think this could be a bounce back spot for Sig, but it may not be a win spot. It may be a top 20 spot for Sig. Stu Sink, Matt wants to know. Stu Sink. I mean, eh, I don't know. Like I think our days of betting Stu Sink to win are probably over. Doesn't play this place very well. Hasn't really knocked on the door this year. So for an outright, I would avoid. I would avoid. So talk yourself back out of that one. Is Nick Hardy toast? Nick wants to know. You know what? I did play him in DraftKings last week, thinking that I had a little something, and he disappointed. He definitely can't hit his irons anymore, apparently, and now he's not putting great. So I don't think we're going to bet. I don't know if he's toast. I don't know if I'd say he's toast, but we're not betting him outright. That's for sure. What's up, Pleasant Ostrich? Yo, okay. Is Pleasant Ostrich hitting on me? Do you work out? How can you tell, bro? You can only see from like the top of my sternum up. Do I got nice shoulders? I did work out this morning though. That's why I'm a little late to the stream. I had some other stuff going on. Brent, we were definitely not doing sync. Steve wants to know about Pendrith. I don't know. Hell, what's the best number? Pendrith, I would much rather have on this Bombers course. Like I'm telling you, the obviously we say this all the time. Length's always an advantage, guys. Length's always an advantage, but it's less of an advantage here. It is they are neutered here a little bit. Alex wants to ask about Rafa or Matt Wallace. No, thank you. Not to win outright. I think I'm out. Let me scroll some of these names a little bit more and see if there's anybody else that pops. Naismith. Naismith's back. Don't mind that. Chesson Hadley. No, he could get hot. I mean, Hayden Buckley 180. If y'all can keep giving me Hayden Buckley, I'm telling you, the kid's gonna pop at one point. Lucas Glover at 200 to 1 is interesting. What's he done here? Lucas Glover at 200 to 1 here? I don't know. That this is I mean, you just gotta pound a lot of fairways and greens and then get God, his form is awful. That's why. That's why he's 200 to 1. Kep's asking about Todd Baum. I think I'm out. Joanne. What up, Joanne? Andrew Putnam seems like a name that would do well here. I don't think he's played here very much. Let's see. He's not. He does seem like a guy that could do well. I don't mind Andrew Putnam, actually. The irons worry me a little bit, but let's see. Let's look at he's a solid putter, really good putter. Gains a lot of strokes with the flat stick, hits a lot of fairways. Let's look at his proximity buckets and see if maybe his irons just really suck. Like maybe it's just his long irons that really suck over the long term. So if I can get Fantasy National to load here, I will pull up his irons proximity numbers. All right, here we go. Yeah, his irons pretty much suck all around. He's good from like 75 to 100 and 100 to 125, which is important here. But that 125 to 150, 150 to 175 is not good. What's his number? I think Putnam is interesting. Uh he's 150 to 1, sure. If that's his best, I don't know. I'm not going to check and see if that's his best number, but 150 to 1, I would do that. Keps, I talked about Brent Todd earlier. I think I'm out, man. The guy's just not he's not good. He's not doing good things right now. Aaron Rye. Brent, that's an interesting name. I wouldn't mind looking into Aaron Rye. This will be his first time playing here. Obviously, he's kind of getting definitely an accurate driver of the golf ball. We know that hits it pretty accurately. Last saw him missing the cuts in Scotland at the Genesis and the Open Championship. For that, the irons were pretty hot. What's he do? Limited Bermuda experience, and then when he's had Bermuda, he's sucked on it. That worries me a little bit. Like chipping and hitting out of the rough here on this grainy Bermuda, as well as putting out of it, it can be pretty challenging. That worries me a little bit around around Aaron Rye. Got her up, no, for some of the same reasons. Oh, hang on, let me get my plug up the laptop here. I'm gonna disappear on you boys, and Joanne. Got her up. Same kind of thing with got her up for these other bombers. It just neutralizes them a little bit. Steve, thank you. 170 to 1 on Putnam at FanDuel. That's the best number. I don't mind that. You like players out of the top 25? Yeah, I mean, I think I do think there is something to it. I've been texting with a couple of players and caddies already that have been bubble boys, And it is part of it. I mean, I know you could make the argument that hey, they're just going to play well every week, right? Like that's what they're going to try to do. But I think we would all like to think that human nature would have you do that. But in the dog days of the summer, when you're one of those kind of rookies or you're a fringe player and you're playing the freaking Byron Nelson, in the heat, or you're playing the damn uh, whatever in the middle of the summer, you can't tell me these guys give it the same focus and the same attention and there's the same urgency as there is today, like this week, when they have one last shot to make sure they secure it or make sure they stay within the bubble or they don't fall or they don't. It's not the same. Like I've already been texting with the Bubble Boys caddy this morning, Austin Goggart, caddy for Austin Smotherman. There is a lot of extra attention and a lot of extra focus, and it may just mean, hey, these guys are going to grind a little bit harder on a Monday, maybe just a touch extra on a Monday. And these caddies the other thing is, like, these caddies, I mean, Austin's looking at he's hitting it off really well with Smotherman. He wants to continue playing with this guy on the PGA Tour next year, and he wants a job. So, like, he's doing a little extra research, a little extra course, management, and walking this property a little more and getting a little more intel on what it takes to do well here. And I think to deny that those guys aren't doing that, if they're truly one of these bubble boys, is probably not is not accurate. Like I don't think that's happening. Now, whether or not they play better as a result, I don't know. Like they may buckle under that pressure or they may show up. All right, I got to round this out because we're over 30 minutes. I like the Smalley guy. Jackie's asking about Smalley, local boy. I get that, and I like Alex Smalley. I think we talked about him on last week's show, so I do like Alex. How did he do? He T29 this week. How did he get there? Just kind of neutral and everything. Gained some strokes off the tee. I like Alex Smalley. I really do. I think the kid's talented. He could come up and win. I think if we look back at his, I think I have a do I have a Corn Ferry Tour profile on him? I don't. Okay, well, scratch that. I won't go back and look at that. But I think Smalley is interesting. All right, let's kind of sum this up. JT Poston's numbers already dropped. There we go. Gosh dang it. I was going to say JT at 45 to 1 on DraftKings is the number. All right, short odds right now, the values tend to be on FanDuel. I like Sung J at 18 to 1 and Willie Z at 16 to 1 on FanDuel if you're interested in betting that top of the board. I like Adam Scott at 33 and Varner at 42 on FanDuel. I prefer Varner. And then I really like Seabez at 55 on FanDuel. Those are the best values on FanDuel. JT was 50 to 1 10 minutes ago. He's now 45 to 1 on DraftKings, and that was the best number. 45 to 1 on DraftKings is still the best number, and I would hit that. I like JT Poston here. It would not shock me to see him win again at this golf course. And so just because he's won a couple of weeks ago, and he stayed hot. He really has. He stayed hot. The miscut at the Open Championship, flying straight from the John Deere, him and Fleener having never been over there, never played over there. And I don't think he missed the cut by much either. So I throw that out. Scott Stallings at 70 to 1 on DraftKings. We must hammer that. We are still hammering Scott Stallings. It's not the perfect course fit for Scott, but it's good enough, and he's hot enough right now. We got to roll with that. Keeping in anything under 100 to 1. Denny McCarthy and Sebastian Munoz on MGM. McCarthy 40 to 1, Sebastian 66 to 1. Those were their best numbers. And then bombs at 100 or longer. Taylor Moore and Callum Tarrant on DraftKings at 130. Putnam at 150. I do like Smalley. We didn't shop his line. I don't know where his best numbers are, but I do like Smalley there as well. Okay, that's it. That's for me. 34 minutes on the Wyndham stream is way too long. I'm going to get less views now as a result. But thank you to all of you who are in the chat. Thank you for participating. It makes it more fun when we have chat participation. While you're in there, please hit the like button on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And be on the lookout. The podcasts are coming out tonight. Me and Pat, we're going to have some fun with this one. I love the Wyndham. It's one of my favorite events. It really is. Last event, you got all the storylines of these guys grinding. You're going to have the projected FedEx Cup standings on the weekend. It's a fun one. It really is. So, and there's variance. Let's embrace it. All right. Thank you guys. Bend over your bookie. Make them just pay. You know what I mean?